Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
And welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this last Saturday in July. And I'm Dave Gabbard, one of your co-hosts, and I'm actually a week early. You know, I'm usually on the first Saturday of the month. But my other brother Daryl's here somewhere. And, of course, our other co-host sitting over there, Larry Ray, and got Bill Cooks in the studio with us this morning. And but our next guest.
I'm a co-host? Okay.
Yeah, you're a co-host.
Right,
you know,
ahead.
you
sorry.
gave me the mic.
I did.
Power.
Power. I'm sorry.
But
the Bill Cooks show. Go ahead.
But our next guest.
Yes.
Young man that I've known
That's
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it comes.
And
keep going. We're ready.
Here we go. Bated breath. Now, our next guest for the next segment is Daniel Stanfield. Daniel is TWRA West Tennessee Fur Bearer and Big Game Coordinator. You notice I didn't say Region 1 anymore because, in my opinion, we have no regions anymore. It's West, Middle, and East.
Well, you don't have a job anyway, so
I know. I left it, you know. So, but no, Daniel.
Come on.
Daniel is.
We only got 10 minutes here.
Like I said, is our Big Game and Fur Bear coordinator there in the office, and Daniel does a super job on keeping abreast of all the trends out there and the data and the numbers. But we got something special this year that we're going to try. Since we're rolling into August, towards the end of August, we're going to have a special hunt out there for allow archers to take velvet, deer and velvet. Are you with us this morning, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have I put you
here.
to sleep?
No, you did a good job.
You're doing good by putting the information out there.
Yeah, he is that. And let me slip in here real quick before Dave decides to solidify his new position over there. So there it is. Hey, we are glad, Daniel, to have you on the show, and just worked out that Dave, the former potentate, former minister of propaganda, ex-minister of propaganda for West Tennessee with the TWRA, is with us this morning, along with Gene Smith and, of course, Bill Cooks. He is here, too. But, Daniel, I wanted Daniel on because there's been a lot of talk, kind of slipped in there, about this hunt that's going to be August the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Correct.
And it's a velvet buck hunt. So tell our listeners about why are we doing this, and your thoughts on it, and the merits of it, and things like that.
Well, yeah, it kind of came in there, back during the May commission meeting. One of the commissioners brought this up as a request of something they wanted to try for the state of Tennessee. And you're right, it's a 3-day hunt, August the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So it'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday hunt. Now it's archery only.
Mm-hmm.
It's for. It's kind of funny you say it's antlered only, but there's really no antlers. It's going to be velvet at the time.
Yeah,
but it's a velvet hunt is what they're kind of calling it, and it's for private lands only.
Okay.
Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to own the property. It's just not going to be open on any of our WMAs or public hunting areas or anything like that. So if you have permission or have a lease, that's considered private ground.
So this is not going to be on the WNA, but it will count as one of your 2 bucks, right? Correct.
Yeah, if you're able to take one of the antlered deer during this 3-day hunt, then you're pretty much, for the rest of the archery, muzzleloader, and rifle, you've got a 1 buck tag, basically, if you kill one during that hunt.
Now, you can kill a doe during this hunt?
No, it's antlered only.
It's antlered only.
I think antlered only. Yeah, I think Kentucky last year started. I think it was last year before.
Yeah, they start early than we do. Yeah,
they started real early. So archery hunters were having a chance to take some deer in velvet, and it kind of caught on. So this is something we're trying, kind of a 3-day period this year, kind of see how it goes, see what the pros and the cons are on it, and it might be something that changes, in the future, moving forward at the next season.
What's the reaction that you've heard out of your area, talking to hunters and things?
It's kind of mixed. I mean, your hardcore deer hunters, they're excited about it because, usually during our normal deer season, the deer have done shed their velvet. So you never get a chance at a velvet deer.
Uh-huh.
And you hear about hunters going out west and hunting them early seasons where they kill a mule deer or a white-tailed deer that's in velvet. So it's kind of it's a trophy to some, but then other people, our deer season's so long, they'd much rather wait till it cools off where they're not fighting the mosquitoes and the heat waves and everything else.
Well, those guys don't have to go.
They don't have to go. That's right.
Yeah, they don't have to go. And there's one thing, it's great to have a hunt, but one thing hunters need to keep in mind, it is going to be hot during that time of year, and you can't, if you was to harvest a buck in velvet, if you're going to get it mounted, you got to be very careful. You don't want to grab the antlers with your hands and drag that deer on the ground and bust the velvet or pull the blood vessels off. And, first off, you need to make sure that your processor, if you carry it to a local processor, make sure that processor is going to be open. A lot of the local deer processors won't be open at that time.
That's right. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Is that opening weekend of squirrel season too?
Yeah, it's the same weekend there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. Isn't that right, Gene Smith, in that same weekend?
That's right, exactly right.
Yeah, so if you participate in this, you got to be on the lookout for squirrel hunters.
Right.
You'll be
and
sharing.
no shoulders.
And no shoulders, of course. Yeah, there's a lot of disadvantages to this. To me, it's going to be hot. You're going to be out there in the squirrel hunting outfit, just about, but you will have to wear no orange. You don't have to have anything like that. So you're sharing the woods with other folks, and it's very easy. It could be 100 degrees.
Possibly, yeah.
But what I've seen over the years,
what
before I retired, you have probably a better chance seeing a buck in velvet than you do a squirrel hunter anymore.
Well,
that's about the truth.
That's
brother.
about the truth. Yes, and that's sad. That's a whole nother subject because I can remember never missing an opening weekend of squirrel hunting. We had a camp. We had a cookout. Everybody was there. Dale Carpenter and those guys in the Wolf River Bottoms. But now this gives an opportunity. But and again, we're visiting with Daniel Stanfield. He's the Regent. We're not going to say that. West Tennessee Fur Bear and Big Game Coordinator. And I know that this are we calling it velvet? Or what are we? Is it?
No, it's just basically an antlered only archery hunt, 3-day archery hunt.
All right, and
this with a very high percentage or chance that the antlered deer will still be in velvet. So
when is the velvet season? I mean, how long does a deer keep that velvet? How does that? When do they start rubbing that thing off?
They could possibly at the end of August they could start rubbing it off.
Okay.
I've seen, but I have seen them, during dove season. That first week of September, I've seen bucks with velvet still on. So it's usually right there about the second week of September around here that I have seen the deer start to shed the velvet. But it's going to change even across the state. There's a lot of factors kind of go into that.
But be sure that you're shooting a velvet buck.
That's right.
I mean,
it's make sure it's it don't have to be velvet. It's antlered only.
It's
antlered. It could be velvet or antler.
Wow. Well, I think it's no pun intended, a cool idea, but
it'd be hot.
I'm correct in my understanding that this is not a time to just saw off the top of a head and throw them on the wall because deer in velvet. That stuff's going to deteriorate, unlike a normal rack.
Like
so
Daniel
think
said,
about the process of the deer and getting those antlers to a taxidermist to have them preserved properly,
talk about that.
Yeah, you got to get them preserved properly, and it's going to probably from a taxidermist stand, it's going to cost a little more to get that antlered deer in velvet put on the walls and
I just come up with a good idea for a seminar for your Friday if you get one of the taxidermists out there.
Well, that's a good idea.
Outdoor for the hunting extravaganza to talk about that.
Well, maybe I can get Chris Knight to come out there Friday and talk about that as a taxidermist. Because how do you tell me that? How do you, if you kill one and you have this big deer and you have velvet antlers and you just talked about you have to handle it differently? How? You
just don't. You normally just don't want to just, if you're pulling a deer out of the woods, most people grab them by the antlers and drag them out. You don't want to drag this deer out with velvet antlers because where you've grabbed onto it, you're going to rub that velvet off.
Okay.
just by the constant friction.
So you take it, you field dress it just like you normally will, as quickly as you can. Get ice inside the body or whatever it might be, and get it to a processor. But if there's no processors, and then you've got to get it to the taxidermist, there's a lot of steps here that you'll waste your whole 3 days by being not prepared for this hunt.
If somebody mishandles it too.
What does that mean? What do you mean mishandles?
You get a guy at the process to grab them antlers by mistake, or he drop it on the ground, or you drag the deer on the ground and bump something.
Yeah,
the velvet comes off pretty easy.
So this, Daniel, it's a tricky hunt. Don't make it sound like it's real easy. Huh?
It is. It's going to be a little harder than anticipated, but I think from what they're looking at it's an opportunity for some of the diehard.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want. Yeah.
To have a chance.
Well, that's what we want, and I know, like say Kentucky. I don't know if any other state has this, what we call. I think it's a cool thing to try, so to speak, and everything. But
before we let Daniel go,
all right, you got a minute and a half.
Okay, I just want to switch gears here.
All right,
and talk. What's your poult production look like this year?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hadn't seen the final tallies, but kind of the preliminary results I've seen coming in is pretty bad.
Yeah, because I know
what I'd heard. Yeah,
because I know
I didn't want to end it on a sad note.
Well, it's
you've done it, man.
I think because of the long, cold, wet spring.
Oh yeah,
because I've got 2 hens that come through the yard. Hit the feeders that's got 5 poults, and then there's a lone hen that's got 6 poults, and the age difference between the poults is a good 3 weeks at least.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
but,
that's another story for another time, but you're exactly right. Hey, Daniel, thank you, buddy, for
anytime,
stopping in with us, and we'll stay in touch, okay? Have a great weekend,
yeah, give
all
me
right?
A call.
All
See
right.
y'all.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Daniel
Bye.
Stanfield, all right, of the TWRA, West Tennessee Fur Bear and Big Game Coordinator. All right, we're going to switch now. This is definitely a Cooksey introduction on these next 2 guys. I mean,
he's going to get his mojo working.
Yeah, we're going to get his mojo working here on this, because if anybody knows, I really respect Bill and his knowledge of waterfowl hunting and everything else, and spinning wing decoys really changed everything. And you were there at the ground level.
Yep.
I was too. So be right back after we talk commercials, and we'll come back and we're going to talk to Mike Morgan and Terry Denman. And they're the mojo guys.